You thought your silence would shake her, that she'd notice the sudden quiet, that her heart would skip a beat when she realized you were gone. You pictured her scrolling through her phone, wondering why you disappeared, waiting for a message that never came. But instead, nothing. Days passed, then weeks, maybe even months, and she's still out there, laughing, living, moving forward, as if you never existed. Meanwhile, you're stuck, mind racing, heart sinking, scrolling through her posts, analyzing her every move, asking yourself, why isn't she feeling my absence? Why isn't she chasing me? Why does it feel like she's winning? Here's the truth, and it's going to sting, because to her, she never lost anything. But that's about to change. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly why your silence isn't working, and more importantly, how to shift the power back into your hands. This isn't about tricks, games, or manipulation. This is about transformation, about becoming a man so unshakable, so powerful, so complete, that no one, especially her, can overlook you. If you're ready to stop waiting and start winning, keep watching. And if you're serious about taking back control of your life, comment "I am in control" below, because after this, you'll never think the same way again. All right, if you're ready, let's dive in. Reason 1. The truth about chasing. You're sitting there in silence, convinced she's wondering where you went. You tell yourself she's confused, that she's second-guessing things, that any moment now, she'll break down and reach out. But one that's hard to swallow. She's not confused. She knows exactly what's happening. She's seen this before. Your pattern, your emotions, your desperation, and she's expecting you to crack. She's waiting for that familiar text. "Hey, just checking in. I miss you. Are you okay?" She's seen this movie 100 times before, and she knows exactly how it ends. Because in her mind, your silence isn't strength, it's strategy. And strategy isn't power. She knows you're not gone. You're waiting. Waiting for her to notice. Waiting for her to feel something. Waiting for her to miss you. And when she realizes you're still watching, still hoping, still holding on, she feels nothing. Because deep down, she knows the truth. You haven't changed. You're still that same man, still clinging to hope, still caught in the same cycle, still convinced that if you just stay quiet long enough, she'll come running back. But silence without change? It's just absence. And absence without value? It's nothing. If she expects you to chase, and you're still sitting there hoping she'll notice, you're not walking away, you're just standing still. And standing still is just another form of waiting. And a man who waits is a man without power. Reason 2. Why holding back feels weak. Your silence isn't powerful. It's desperate. You're not calm. You're holding back. You're biting your tongue, resisting the urge to text her, convincing yourself that staying quiet is the smart move. But deep down, you're still waiting. Waiting for her to notice. Waiting for her to reach out. Waiting for some sign that she's feeling your absence. And while you sit there staring at her stories like they hold some hidden message, she knows. She can feel it. Because women don't just listen to words, they sense energy. And right now your energy, it's weak. Your silence isn't giving off strength, it's radiating anxiety, hesitation, and hope. And that's not power. That's waiting. And waiting, it's just another form of chasing. You think your silence is creating mystery, that it's making her wonder where you are, what you're thinking, whether she's losing you. But she's not wondering, because she knows the truth. You're still hooked. And as long as she knows that, she's not feeling your absence, because you haven't really left. Power doesn't come from pretending you don't care. It comes from actually not caring. When your silence is backed by certainty, when you're so focused on your own growth, your own purpose, your own life, that's when your silence becomes undeniable. Not because you're trying to make her notice, but because you genuinely don't care if she does. That's when she feels it, because that's when she realizes she's no longer in control. Before we jump into reason 3, take a moment to do me a small favor. Hit like, subscribe, and share this message. Your simple action can help more people who are struggling with this issue find the content they need. Thank you for being a part of this. Reason 3. The harsh truth. Why she's not missing you. You're sitting there in silence, hoping she's staring at her phone, wondering why you haven't texted, hoping she's scrolling through old photos, feeling the weight of your absence, hoping she's second-guessing everything. But while you're stuck in your head, she's out there living her life, laughing with friends, making plans, moving forward without giving you a second thought. Because to her, your silence isn't a loss, it's a relief. And that's the truth no one tells you. If all you brought to her life was comfort, consistency, and predictable effort, then your absence doesn't leave a void. It creates space. Space for her to breathe. Space for her to relax. Space for her to feel free. She's not feeling your absence because, if you're honest, what did you really give her to miss? Did you challenge her? Did you inspire her? Did you create moments so powerful they lingered in her mind long after you left the room? Or did you just show up? Did you become too predictable, too available, too easy to take for granted? That's why she doesn't feel your absence, because she never had to earn your presence in the first place. If you want her to feel the void when you're gone, you have to become a man whose presence leaves a mark. A man who adds so much value that life without you feels incomplete. A man whose absence feels like losing an opportunity to be part of something greater. And that doesn't happen by sitting in silence, hoping she notices. It happens when you become so focused on your own growth, your own mission, your own evolution, that your presence becomes undeniable. Because when you become that man, she won't just notice your absence, she'll feel it. And when she does, it'll be too late. Reason 4. Why staying the same keeps you stuck. Here's the hardest truth, one that most men refuse to face. She's not missing you because you're still the same. You haven't grown, you haven't evolved, you haven't become anything more than the man she walked away from. And why would she miss that? You've convinced yourself that silence is progress, that if you just disappear long enough, she'll start to wonder, start to regret, start to miss you. But silence alone doesn't change anything. Time doesn't create attraction, value does. And right now, you're still the man she left. Still stuck in old habits, still carrying the same insecurities, still chasing her in your mind, even if your fingers aren't typing the words. You haven't become stronger, you haven't become sharper, you haven't become the kind of man who demands respect and admiration. So why would she come back? If she left you because you were needy, and you're still needy, why would she return? If she left you because you lacked ambition, and you're still drifting, what's different now? If she left you because you didn't know your worth, and you're still waiting for her to define it, what's there to miss? The man she walked away from is still the man you are now. And that's why she isn't looking back. Real change doesn't come from waiting, it comes from movement. If you want her to feel your absence, you must become a man she no longer recognizes. Build your body, not to impress her, but to build your strength and discipline. Build your mind, not to look smart, but to sharpen your focus and deepen your wisdom. Build your purpose, not to win her back, but to create a life so powerful that no one, not even her, can ignore it. Because when you stop wasting your energy checking her stories, when you stop wondering if she's thinking about you, when you stop hoping she notices your silence, you unlock something far greater. You stop living for her attention and start living for your own evolution. And when you do that, when you build a life so rich with purpose, strength, and growth, she'll notice. But by then, you won't be waiting for her to. Because you'll finally understand that the greatest power you can hold is becoming a man who no longer needs her to feel whole. Reason 5. How to cut emotional ties. You've convinced yourself that you've gone silent. You've stopped texting. You've stopped calling. You've stopped checking in. But if she still occupies your mind, you haven't left. If you're still checking her social media, hoping to catch a glimpse of her life, if you're still replaying old memories, convincing yourself that she's thinking about them too, if you're still waiting, quietly, patiently, for the moment she realizes what she lost, then your silence, it's an illusion. She may not hear from you, but she feels you, lingering in the background like a shadow that refuses to fade. Because women don't just listen to words, they sense energy. And she can feel it. She knows you're still hoping. She knows you're still watching. She knows that if she reached out right now with just a simple "hey," you'd collapse in an instant. And that's why she doesn't miss you. Because she still controls you. She knows she doesn't have to chase you, because you're already there, orbiting her life like a satellite, waiting for her to pull you back in. And as long as she knows that, she has no reason to feel your absence. True absence isn't about silence. It's about detachment. It's about removing her from your mind, your heart, your focus, until she no longer holds power over your emotions. Because as long as you're still emotionally tied to her, you're stuck. Stuck in a mental loop where everything, your mood, your motivation, your peace, depends on what she might do next. And a man who's still tied to a woman, even in silence, isn't free. But when you finally let go, when you stop checking, stop wondering, stop waiting, that's when everything shifts. Because the second she realizes you've truly moved on, that you've stopped caring, stopped hoping, stopped living for her approval, that's when she feels it. That's when she starts questioning, wait, why isn't he watching? Why isn't he reacting? Why does it feel like I've lost him? But here's the twist. By the time she feels that void, you won't care anymore. Because you'll finally understand that your power was never in making her miss you. It was in becoming a man so free, so complete, and so focused on his own growth, that her presence or her absence no longer defines your worth. The power of evolution. You want her to feel your absence. You want her to wake up one day, realize what she lost, and regret everything. But that's never gonna happen. Not if you're still the same man she walked away from. Because here's the truth, and it's harsh. She won't feel your absence until she sees that you've changed. Not pretend change. Not posting gym selfies hoping she notices. Not fake smiles in your Instagram stories trying to look like you've moved on. Real change. The kind of change that isn't done to impress her, but to rebuild you. The only way she'll miss you is when she realizes that the man she once knew no longer exists. Not because you played a clever silence game, not because you followed some no-contact rule, not because you were waiting, hoping, praying she'd come back, but because you evolved. Because you became a man who no longer needs her or anyone else to feel whole. A man who's too focused on building something powerful to waste another second waiting for her attention. And when she finally realizes that you've outgrown her, when she sees that the man who once chased her has vanished, and in his place stands a man she can no longer reach, that's when she feels it. That's when her mind starts spinning. That's when she starts second-guessing. That's when she wonders, did I lose something valuable? But by then, you won't even care, because you won't be looking back. You'll be too busy moving forward, too busy building your empire, mastering your craft, and creating a life filled with purpose, power, and peace. And when you reach that point, when her presence or her absence no longer controls your emotions, that's when you become truly untouchable. Because real strength isn't found in silence. It's found in evolution. So stop waiting. Stop hoping. Stop watching her life unfold like your happiness depends on it. Instead, build something so powerful that no one, especially her, can ignore it. And when you do, she won't just notice your silence. She'll feel the void you left behind. But by then, you'll be too far ahead to care. Here's what it all comes down to. Your silence isn't enough. Not if it's driven by hope. Not if it's filled with waiting. Not if it's just a quiet form of chasing. Because silence without growth, it's powerless. If you want her to feel your absence, if you want anyone to feel your absence, you must become a man whose presence demands to be missed. A man who's too focused on his mission to wonder what she's thinking. Too disciplined to waste energy checking her stories. Too grounded to need her validation. Because when you become that man, when you evolve so completely that you no longer need her, that's when she feels it. But by then, you won't care anymore. Because you'll know something far more powerful, that your worth was never defined by her presence or her absence. It's defined by you. So stop waiting, stop hoping, stop looking back, start building, start moving, start becoming the kind of man who never has to ask, does she miss me? Because by the time she realizes what she lost, you'll be too far ahead to care. Thanks for being with Stoic Heart on this journey today. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our latest videos. We'd love to hear your thoughts or suggestions for future topics, so drop a comment below. See you in the next video.